Guten Tag, ich heiße Ashley Foster von Vislor Dog Training Centre, and here's little Auntie Mrs.
Go lay down.
Go lay down, Mrs. Go on. Naughty. The rules and regulations of IPO Dog Sport frowns heavily upon any form of handler help during the build-up, execution and completion of any exercise. What is handler help, and why is it one of the most costly faults at the higher levels of IPO? Dogs are possibly unrivaled in their mastery of reading body language, not just of their own species but of humans too. This highly evolved trait has been honed to near perfection and has helped to bridge the communication gap between our two species, making our relationship so mutually beneficial that some evolutionary scientists argue that it's had a tangible impact on the development of the human species. This cross-species body bilingualism, a word I've just made up, is possibly unique in the animal kingdom and is one of the reasons dogs have earned the title of man's best friend. Sorry, cats. So why is it considered a fault to give your dog help in the form of gesticulations, a word I haven't just made up, in the sport of IPO? The reason is elegantly simple and typically German in its logic, because it's too easy. My first language is English. I was born in England, both my parents are English, I grew up in England, went to English schools and have pretty much always lived in England, so it's safe to say that I'm always going to be able to communicate better in English than any other language. Sure, it's possible for me to learn other languages like German or Chinese, but it will always be easier for me to speak English because that was my first language. A dog's first language, by contrast, is body language. While it is certainly possible for a dog to learn verbal commands, just like hopefully it's possible for me to learn German, it's always going to be easier for a dog to read, understand and respond to body signals than the spoken word. Thus IPO encourages trainers to push their dog's linguistic intelligence to maximum. Each command should be delivered to the dog via word alone, and if a handler consciously or subconsciously gesticulates outside of their natural movement during any exercise, however subtly, they should have points deducted according to the rules. This obviously depends on how perceptive or dogmatic a judge chooses to be, but handler help faults tend to be more strictly observed in larger national or international IPO trials. This can be a bit of a shock to the system if a handler has been unaware of the help they have been giving in smaller club trials to suddenly find themselves having points deducted in the bigger trials where they haven't before. Here is an example from personal experience. This is our dog, Vongalanberg Kai, trained by my dear old dad. In his first IPO 3 club trial he scored 98 out of 100 points. In the 2011 Great Britain IPO National Championships he scored 98 points. In the first Great Britain World Championship Team Qualifier of 2012 he scored 96 points, but in the final Great Britain World Championship Team Qualifier he scored 92 points. So what took Kai from the vorzüglich or excellent gradings to a sehr gut or very good grading of 92 points? It was in part due to the emphasis that the judge of the trial, Herr Dirk Stocks SV, placed on handler help faults. Fortunately, Herr Stocks took me to one side after the trial and explained where the points had been lost to prepare us for the judging of the World Championships. Here is an example. Every time Kai was commanded to move from the present to the heel position, known as a finish, Dad looks down and to the left with his head. This movement of the head, subtle though it may be, could be seen as encouraging the dog around to the heel position. For every single finish during the obedience phase, Kai was docked half a point. Even little point deductions like this can be extremely costly at a large trial. In conclusion, while all dog trainers are naturally going to rely on using body language to communicate with their dog, particularly in the early phases of puppy training, ideally an IPO trainer should be aiming to teach the dog to understand and respond solely to verbal commands, with the handler looking straight ahead and moving naturally without hand, body or head signals. This is why it's always recommended to have trusted people watch you as well as the dog during training, or have large mirrors around so you can watch yourself. Thanks for watching, sharing and supporting this series of videos. As always, feedback is greatly appreciated, especially when mistakes are made, as it helps me create better content. Your comments have even helped me learn stuff I never knew about dog sport, which makes it even more rewarding for me, so thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page for future updates. Cheers! Come here. Hey. Say the nights. Say the nights. Say bye-bye.